Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story is from FewSetting4917 and it's titled, "Am I the arsehole for leaving my sister's wedding early after a maid of honor humiliated me in a speech?" I, 27 female, was a bridesmaid at my older sister's wedding last week. The wedding was beautiful and everything seemed perfect until the reception. During the reception, the maid of honor, who has been my sister's best friend since childhood, gave her speech. It was emotional and all, but then she made a joke about how I was the family screw-up, who finally managed to do something right by not messing up my bridesmaid's duties. Everyone laughed, but I didn't find it funny. For context, I've had a rough few years. I struggled with my mental health and dropped out of college for a while. I've since gotten my life back on track, but it's still a sensitive topic for me. Hearing that joke in front of all of our family and friends wasn't funny at all. My sister's best friend and I never really got along, but still, I never expected something like this from her, especially the day wasn't about me at all. Then why bring me up in the speech? I tried to stay composed, but I felt the tears coming, so I quietly left the reception and went outside to collect myself. My sister followed me out and asked what was wrong. When I told her, she said it was a joke and she meant nothing bad. I tried to go back inside, but I just couldn't, and I ended up leaving the wedding early. My parents understand why I was upset, but my sister is angry with me. I do feel terrible for leaving, but I also feel like I had the right to feel hurt and humiliated. Edit. I said nothing at the moment because I didn't want to cause a scene on my sister's special day. And I can't reason with her right now because she will just ask me if I haven't been taking my meds lately, because that's what she does when she's angry with me. So I'm giving her some time to maybe realize how our best friend's joke was out of line. Edit 2. Someone asked me if my sister's best friend and I argued before / did I give her a reason to do this. My sister's best friend and I never went past hi. She told me before, a few years ago, that she in general doesn't feel comfortable around someone struggling mentally because in her head, God only knows what they're capable of. Since she said this / to this day, I just try to avoid her. Not the arsehole to me in this. What else was you meant to do? That comment was a dig at you and upset you. Was you to sit there and cry in front of everybody? Absolutely not. You got yourself out of that situation. You didn't make a scene. Your sister is the one that followed you out, and then to me, still felt like she was belittling your feelings. And the meds comment as well, just, it just shows how much the sister is very much like the maid of honor in this situation as well. I kind of have to ask myself, I know it's family and I know it's easy for me to say as always, but what are you getting from sister in this relationship? But Ungrateful Dead says, not the arsehole from the way you describe your sister's reaction. Her BFF feels free to belittle you because your sister always goes along with it. I wouldn't be surprised if her maid of honor ran that joke by your sister for approval beforehand. If your sister considers insulting you in a public setting like that to be a joke, you can bet money that they shared similar jokes between them before. The shots about taking your meds show sis doesn't have a lot of empathy for your situation or respect for you as a person. I don't see her apologizing if that's the case. I could be wrong in my suspicions, but everything you describe tells me I'm not. Zakal74 says not the arsehole, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. Mocking someone's mental health is bullshit in any circumstance, but in front of that whole group of family and friends, just fucking despicable. She will just ask me if I've been skipping on my meds. Your sister sounds like she isn't a whole lot better than her arsehole friend. Tuesday Patient says, not the arsehole, F her and everyone who laughed. Your sister should have stood up and said something then and there. I think I'm tired like that. People sometimes laugh out of nervousness or peer pressure or social discomfort. But your family needs to shut the shit down immediately. ETA is just a joke and oh you can't take a joke and oh you're just a bad sport, yada yada yada, have been used forever by cruel people to convince the butt of their jokes that the victim is the problem. My dad did that for most of my life. I finally started just giving it back to him and he stopped. If your sister thought your mental health struggles were appropriate to joke about, then she doesn't deserve to be in your life. I hate that crap. It's abuse disguised as harmless fun. Happy Camper says not the arsehole. Maid of honor was being a mean girl. Her point was to be a bitch, and she was. Her speech should have been about the couple who just got married. There was no reason to bring you into a speech at all, except to be mean. Maid of Honor should be ashamed of herself, as she is the arsehole here. Your sister not seeing this in her words to you also make her an arsehole. I'm sorry your sister was crappy to you. Maybe show her this thread. Medical Gate says say this. Hey, I don't forgive you for all the comments about not taking my meds. I don't forgive you for talking shit to your friend so much that she felt comfortable talking shit about me as part of your wedding speech. I'm done making excuses for you. You're not a good person and I have no interest in being around you. And block. Wait 2 years and then notice how every aspect of your life has improved. So, Opie came in with her update and says, Hi, thanks to everyone who took the time to comment on my post and gave their opinion and advice without being too harsh. I apologize if my update is messy or confusing. I tried to cover everything, but I don't know when to add context for clarification. If you think there's any missing info, some parts are confusing, let me know. The same day I posted, my dad called to check up on me and see if my sister and I had talked things out. When I told him no, he said it's better if we talk about it now, and assured me that I have nothing to apologize for. If my sister thinks she has nothing to apologize for, then the least she can do is make her best friend apologize or fully realize that the joke was out of line. By the way, my brother and I met 4 days ago. He told me that brother-in-law, my sister's husband, didn't like the way that the maid of honor called me a screw-up in front of everyone, and some of those laughed, voiced later that they did so out of nervousness. On Monday, my sister called me to talk. When I made it to her place, her best friend was on the phone and didn't put it down for a second. My sister started by saying that just a few years ago, I would have laughed hard and not taken the joke as an insult. I told her maybe some laughed because they don't know the reason she called me a screw-up. For context, when I was 16 something happened, and that's why I struggled mentally really badly between 16 and 18. When I was 17 I was diagnosed with PTSD and later with depression and anxiety. Since then I don't like it when someone touches my head, especially my hair and the back of my head/neck. My sister knows everything. During our conversation my sister did most of the talking. At some point I felt like my sister had called me just to blame me again without trying to understand my perspective. When I tried to talk, she put her hand on the back of my neck and pulled me towards her with each sentence as to say, do you understand? Or okay. I hated it. I felt irritated. I honestly kept thinking, if I push her away, would I be in the wrong? Would they just call me mental and tell my family I got physical? I tried to leave, but she insisted that no one was leaving until we sort this out. She told her best friend to just apologize. She refused and reminded my sister that I was the reason her husband got angry at her on their wedding day, because I couldn't take a joke. When I tried to explain why, edit, I told her if she focused her speech on the bride and groom, then maybe he wouldn't have had a reason to be angry. She refused to listen and brushed off my words. She said, yeah, whatever, sorry. I was glad it was finally over, and I was about to leave. I heard her say, can't take a joke that everyone knows it's true. Both of them laughed, but my sister stopped mid-laugh and apologized. I didn't say anything and left. I think I've had enough. I mean, I know I've had a few rough years. I dropped out of college for a while, fine, but I've since gotten my life back on track. My parents helped me through it all and never made me feel like a burden. At first, I was on some strong meds that made me feel tired and sleepy most of the time. After a while, I started to feel a little better with therapy and my family support. During that period, it was me, my parents, and my brother. My sister was 3 hours away for a job and used to visit sometimes, and would often bring her best friend along with her. Looking back, I don't want to say she hates me, but I know she felt ashamed to have a family member struggling with mental health issues. I don't know how to explain this. I made up my mind and decided to go no contact for now. If my parents and my brother, who were there when I was going through it all, never made me feel that they're ashamed of me, then why would she? I'm still on meds, but feels much better than before. I have a stable job, my own place, and friends who love me for who I am. I can say I'm proud of myself a little. I love my family to death and tried to maintain a relationship with my sister all these years, but I'm trying to improve myself, not constantly be reminded of what I was a few years ago. Ah man, my blood was absolutely boiling when she put her hands on the back of your neck where you said yourself you don't like to be touched. That sister and that maid of honor are absolutely scummy people. They haven't changed. The little giggle after you started walking away just said it all. The putting the hands on you said it all. And some people with like the absolute ignorance or stupidity, whatever you want to call it, around mental health and taking medication is just wild. I remember when I first started taking sertraline some years back, and I'm a pretty open person about, taking that sort of stuff. Many of us go through issues in our life, and, it's something that should be normalized, be talking about, etc., etc. Talking to each other, then talking to professionals to get the help that you need where you need it. And I remember talking to someone and just telling them that, I'm taking meds for depression at the time. And I can remember them physically almost like stepping back, like, whoa, like a huge thing. It led into a conversation of how it's going to totally change your personality in a negative way, almost like you're going to become zombified. I can just remember staring at this person thinking, fucking planet are you from? Have you ever been on any antidepressants? Of course they hadn't been. So you try to use it as an educational moment, but you can see it's not sinking in. I just find some of the opinions on it absolutely wild, but I'm glad that you're proud of yourself, OP, that you have your stable job, your own place, and friends for love you who you are. That is what you deserve. And you don't need people bringing you down in any way. So fair play to you. And now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. From the Am I the Arsehole subreddit does have an update as well from Am I the Arsehole Roblox hacker, and says, am I the arsehole for threatening to kick out my niece after she hacked my daughter's Roblox account? And I'm sure many of you know what Roblox is, because if you have nieces, nephews, young children, but basically it's an online virtual world with like games that can be created and you join them and do all sorts. So the story starts. My 38 female daughter, 13 female, has been playing this game called Roblox since lockdown first started as a way of playing with her friends virtually, as well as curing her boredom. She was obsessed with this Roblox game that set in the school because she missed her friends so much, and it allowed her to stay connected with them. Her interest in video games has developed into technology. She's by far at the top of her IT class, and she's even started learning how to code in order to make her own game. My sister, 34 female, and niece, 10 female, have recently had to move in with us after my sister discovered that her husband was having an affair. They're staying at my house for the time being, while she saves up money for a place of their own. My niece and daughter usually get along, and they both bond over their interest in Roblox. Last week, my daughter was completely distraught and crying non-stop. She said that she saw her cousin playing on a Roblox game and realized her cousin's avatar had a lot more items than usual. She decided to join her, only to realize that her account had been hacked and she had lost nearly every item she had on her favorite Roblox game. She had lost 800k of the in-game currency and nearly her entire inventory, which she claimed was worth over 5 million of the in-game currency. She had spent the last 4 years saving up for those items and everything was gone just like that. My daughter began accusing my niece of hacking her account. My niece denied it at first, but quickly broke under pressure and admitted everything. The previous day, they had been playing the game together, and I called them down to dinner. My niece has only been playing for a few months, and I suppose she would be considered a newbie. She begged my daughter to give her some of her items, and my daughter refused, saying that she should earn the items by herself. When my daughter came down, my niece decided to stay behind for a minute to transfer all of my daughter's items into her account. I tried to mediate the situation, but my sister is refusing to cooperate. She told me that it's only a game. It's not like my daughter spent real money on it. I attempted to explain just how much this game means to my daughter, to which my sister said that my daughter should count herself lucky that her biggest problem is a bunch of pixels on a screen. She said my daughter was a teenager now and was too old to be acting this immature over a game. My niece refuses to give my niece her stuff back and says it's unfair that my daughter gets to have everything she wants both in real life and online. I told my sister and niece that both of them were acting like ungrateful brats, considering how I was letting them stay in my home rent-free. Today, I gave her an ultimatum. If my niece doesn't return everything she hacked from my daughter, then both would have 1 week to leave. I told her that I refuse to let anyone disrespect my daughter under my roof. Am I the arsehole? Damn it, what's with the shitty sisters in this video? And it's another one of those where you're too old for that or whatever, sod that. If I've been working on a currency in any of the games that I've played in the past, any of the MMOs, and someone stole it, I would be pissed off. And quite frankly, as always, it doesn't matter what it is. These people that you welcomed into your home have stolen from your daughter. It's as simple as that. And even when she does give the currency back, get her out of there ASAP. Just the entitled attitude in itself is bullshit. But Banff says not the arsehole. I'm getting so tired of people telling other people that they're too old to love the things they love. Let people enjoy the things they want to and enjoy life. It doesn't matter if your daughter is too old for the game or if she didn't want to spend any real money on the items. What matters is that your niece stole from your daughter and your sister wants to give her no repercussions for this action. How much longer until your niece decides that it's not fair that your daughter has something else that she doesn't have and takes it from you? Or that you have something that she doesn't and takes that? Theft is theft, and if your daughter doesn't put a stop to it now, it can start a slippery slope. Especially since that your niece has seen that she has her mother's approval. Yes, your niece has been given a raw deal, but that is no excuse to steal, especially from someone who not only had nothing to do with why she has this bad situation, but who was sharing a home to try and help her out. Both your niece and your sister has taken your hospitality and broken your trust. Anna says not the arsehole. I'm so glad that you understand the value of time and effort your daughter has put into this collection, and the value of that to her. Compare it to stealing a collection of crafted items someone had made offline and they felt was precious to them, that they spent time and effort putting together. If your sister can't respect your daughter's time and effort, then she can leave your home. It just popped into my head as well. I remember when one of my younger family members who plays Roblox and they played a game, I think it's called Adopt Me. You have to correct me if I'm wrong there, but you collect pets on it and there's rare pets and such and such. And my young family member got scammed out of one of their favorite pets. Apparently they quickly switched something around or did something and stole their pet. And they was absolutely devastated. Tried getting in touch with Roblox, but they were just like, eh. Anyway, Listen to Learn says, your sister's child stole. She stole from her cousin, who treats her with grace and shares her game. She lies about it, and her mother tried to minimize her bad behavior and blame your daughter for having more and being too old for the game. Isn't lying and cheating why she's in your house with her child? Why is she teaching her daughter to behave like the father she left for lying and cheating? She needs to go back to her house and deal with her daughter and husband. You would not be the arsehole. So 12 days later, Opie comes in with an update and says thank you all for your advice. My sister and niece moved out last week. She's in the process of getting an apartment and they're temporarily staying with a friend of my sister's for the time being. I warned her that if I contacted the developers, they would get her daughter banned. So either way, my niece wasn't keeping the stuff she stole, so she should try to minimize her losses. She claimed I had no proof her daughter hacked the account and refused to compromise. She said I was petty and childish for making them homeless over a kid's video game. And don't get me wrong, I feel bad, I really do. My sister and I never really got along as kids, so I was hoping that at least our kids could have a good relationship with each other. But still, they were inevitably going to leave at some point, so I suppose I only sped up the process. Now that my niece is gone, my daughter seems a lot happier now. She told me she was perfectly fine, but I knew her well enough to know she wasn't. Some very kind and generous people here have offered to gift her some of their items to rebuild her account, for which I am extremely grateful. But my daughter said that she felt bad about taking stuff from other people. I'd already reported my niece's account, which seemed to have no effect. I'm not very tech savvy, but I considered contacting the Roblox developers to see if they could reverse the transaction. However, my daughter informed that doing so would only ban the account, losing all of my daughter's items in the process. I would like to extend all my thanks to the commenters that suggested I try and log into my niece's account. Believe it or not, it only took 5 attempts. Turns out that 10-year-olds don't have the best comprehension of internet security. Surprisingly, getting into the account was the easy part. I spent an embarrassingly long amount of time looking up how to trade everything back. I swear I'm getting old. I couldn't tell which items were my daughter's and which were actually my niece's, so I simply transferred everything my niece had just to be safe. When she came home from school today, I told my daughter I had a fun surprise for her waiting on Roblox. Words can't describe how proud of myself I felt when I saw the joy rush back into her face. The ironic part is that my niece had previously won this very rare Halo item from this sort of lottery system, which my daughter claims is one of the most expensive items in that game. I think I know what game it is, I'll tell you in a sec. I'm quite chuffed with myself. Now it was transferred to my daughter's account, meaning that my daughter walked out of the situation richer than she was to start with. My sister just messaged me in all caps, yelling at me that my niece has been through so much, and I was just kicking her when she was down. She accused me of stealing from a little girl. I simply told her that, in her own words, just a bunch of pixels on a screen. Thanks everyone for your support. Now, I'm going to take a guess. I've been on Roblox a couple of times with the youngsters, but I haven't been on it in a long time. But I know one of the youngsters, the one that was scammed actually, played a game called Royal High, and that to get a halo, which was like a super rare drop. They was always telling me that they're trying to get it from some sort of fountain or something. And all's well that ends well, I think. My only slight concern is if like sister tries to report OP's daughter's account for some reason, hacked or whatever, I don't know. Hopefully not though. But what do you guys make of this situation? As always, it doesn't matter what the item is, they literally stole from you. I can't believe the entitlement of these people. I mean, I've covered enough of them, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.